Anjay,
Yes.
you need to translate after Lord speaks immediately, okay? As the Lord is speaking.
Yes. No, we don't need to translate. We do it afterwards. We record it and translate it afterwards because we have two different languages here in the room.
Okay. Okay.
We won't
Please
waste
start.
Bhagavan's time. We will take the time for spiritual questions.
Okay, we are starting now.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste, Bhagavan. Namaste. So nice to see you. Bhagavan,
Questions?
we are so happy to see you here today and we are very grateful, and this we want to express to you.
You saw me yesterday?
No, we want to express that our gratitude for having this. Thank you for talking with us today. Can you see us? Can you see the
Very
group?
clearly. Yes, I can see you all very clearly. The audience, the video is clear, everything is clear.
Very good, Bhagavan. We are 46 people in the room, and we are 5 shortly, recently initiated new Diksha givers. You should know that, please. So we won't translate during the conference for not wasting your time. And so may I start with the first question?
Yes, yes.
Dear Bhagavan, Switzerland as a neutral nation and as the worldwide headquarter of the Red Cross often plays the role as an intermediator between countries who are at odds with one another. Please tell us what is the specific role and what are the specific tasks of the Swiss blessing givers, and are there specific exercises for them this year and for the time from 2010 until 2012?
Yes. I have often said that different countries on the planet represent certain areas in the human brain. Like Africa represents the emotional side of the brain, and Germany represents order in the brain, and the area around Jerusalem represents the area concerning God realization. So Switzerland definitely has a specific role, as you are pointing out. It could probably bring in a lot of harmony on the planet. Now what will happen is, as more blessing givers emerge in Switzerland and they move into higher states, Switzerland can bring about harmony in the world. And let's say the Germans move to higher states, it will bring about great order in the world. And the Middle East, if most people go to higher states, will bring about more God realization. So every country, India for example, can bring about more awakening. So it will work like that. So definitely Switzerland with its past historical role, it should be, when the blessings happen in Sweden, it will affect the whole world, not just Switzerland. That would be Switzerland's contribution. But you don't have to do any specific exercises or sadhana for that. Just like any other blessing giver, you can be working towards awakening, the same procedures would be used, but the effect on the planet will be different. That will happen very naturally. You don't have to specially focus on that. That would be the contribution of your state. As more and more will move to higher states, that would be a specific contribution. It will happen very naturally. So my answers will be brief because we have only a very short time. So probably I take them at greater length later on. So now shall we move on to the second question, please?
Thank you for the first answer, Bhagavan. Our second question is, during the level courses, we have learned that we are able to achieve everything we want by practicing intent and effort and then wait for grace to come. On the other hand, you are teaching the effortless effort approach, which you have explained many times to us using the example of the rope and the snake. We don't bring these two teachings together. How do we know when we have done enough effort and can just wait for grace to come? And what is wrong if grace is missing? Please give us more clarification about that.
Yes. The Dharma deals with two varieties of people. Those who want to sort out worldly problems and those who want to become awakened. We could even say that there is a Dharma for the unenlightened and a Dharma for the unenlightened. Unenlightened and the enlightened. There are two separate Dharmas because oneness focuses also on wealth, fulfillment of desires and contribution. So the first focus is on health actually. So we try to remove hurdles for creation of wealth. And then we move on to fulfillment of desires. The kind of woman you want to marry or the man you want to marry in your life or whatever you want. We focus on that and on relationships. Then on to contribution. Finally it moves to awakening. The effortless effort teaching, it refers to the inner world for those who are seeking an awakening. The other one, intent, effort, grace, deals with the external world or worldly achievements. Suppose you want to have sufficient wealth, what we say is have intent, put in effort, and then the grace will take over. This is purely for external things, not for the inner world. And now sometimes after you put in the intent and the effort, the grace is not still coming. Then you have not yet surrendered to the divine. So you have to put all your best effort first. Without effort, the grace will not respond. And then the intent must be very, very strong. That's the beginning, in fact, the intent. Then the effort. Then you must say, well, this is all I can do. Hands up. Now I can't do anything more. So please, Lord or God, or whatever you want to call that, please now take over, help me. It should be a genuine surrender. It's not some kind of cheap surrender, no? Some kind of slavishness, no. You realize you have done all that you could possibly do and you could do nothing more. Like for example, you have to fall down from an aeroplane. But you had the intent to save yourself and maybe some effort like you like to land at the beach or something. Then what else could you do? You will completely surrender. Then the grace will do the miracle. Like yesterday I met a pilot. He said there's a plane caught fire and that I think it's a fighter plane or something. And that it must have exploded. But strangely, it did not explode and the man landed and is completely intact. Nothing has happened to it. And he said, my Lord Jesus Christ, happens to be a Christian, said, my Lord Christ saved me. So obviously the prayer was very, very strong. That's when you hand over, when you realize you can't do anything more. But as long as you can do something, you have got to do it. You should not be invoking for help. That shall come in the divine. Only at the point where you say, I cannot do, that is the time you have to pray, to ask for help. Then the grace will definitely come. So that's about that. Can we move on to the third question?
Thank you for this answer, Bhagavan. Our third question is, how does it happen that we have forgotten that we are God? How can a little ego come into existence that feels separated from oneness?
Yes. So there seems to be a divine plan. We could possibly safely assume that in the beginning man was awakened, was enlightened, and that he had no sense of separation. Even now, small children, up to sometimes age 2, 3, they do not have this sense of separation. It's only afterwards that they develop the sense of separation. Maybe there's a divine plan behind it. Now what exactly happens is, when we are seeing, we don't hear. When we hear, we don't see. When we smell, we don't feel touch. When we touch, we don't taste. So senses function actually independently, but they coordinate so fast, it appears as though they're all functioning at the same time. That is what creates the illusion of separation. Now what happens in the awakening process is, the coordinate is slightly slowed down. The moment it is slightly slowed down, the self is gone. That is, the sense of separation is gone. What is there is oneness. Oneness does not mean you becoming one with that. It's not that at all. It's just the one. That's all. Now, what we are trying to do in the process is, when you receive and you give Diksha, and you are passionate about awakening, it ultimately leads to a slowing down of sensory coordination. With that, you are gone. And if that happens for something like 7 minutes, you will never ever come back. It's over. So that is what we are trying to get to. Now, probably had man remained without this sensory coordination, he might have just felt one. And probably there might not have been this civilization and all this development. We might have continued to live in the Stone Age. Maybe nature or God has a different plan. So it brought about the sensory coordination, the sense of separation, and then the ego, and then the struggle, and then all else is history. Nations, societies, all things emerging, science and technology emerging. They built up all these things. Now probably the time has come, that in order to survive, we might have to remove the sense of self. Because we already built up a great civilization, we have the computers, and maybe now without the self and the ego, things would continue to develop. Maybe that's why nature in 2012 might give that break, where it must slow down the sensory coordination and we will all become awakened. So it's now in your hands now. You have to receive and give the blessings. Giving blessings is more powerful than receiving blessings. So you must do that. So I'll give you a simple example of a television set, the DVD player, and the source of power, what we call the plug point in India. I don't know what they call in the factory, where we put in the plug and we get the power. Now, the television set could be considered to be your consciousness. And the mind is the DVD player. And then the source of power is the Diksha. Now, in the DVD player, the mind, you could put any teaching. You could put the teachings of Christ, or a Buddha, or Allah, some Hindu teaching, or anything you like, you could put. It's completely yours. It is your DVD, and whatever you want. And then plug into Diksha. The Diksha is neutral. It's simply just the source of power. And then the DVD or the is played on the television screen, that is your consciousness. So if it's a Buddhist teaching, you get the Buddhist enlightenment. If it's a Christian teaching, you get the Christian enlightenment. If it's the Islamic thing, you get the Islamic realization. So it just goes that way. Diksha itself is like Switzerland, neutral. It doesn't take any sides. You put any DVD there, it will make it an experience. So, but down the line somewhere, you will find the series are slightly slowed down. In fact, for some people, you will actually see the eyes going a little apart. You will take a picture before they are awakened, and after the awakening, you find the eyes is slightly moved apart. That's one of the signs that the senses are slowed down. That is what we call the neurobiological phenomenon. If that happens, it's permanent. It just stays put. Without that happening also, you can still be in a great state, but it may come, it may go. But once this happens, it's permanent and it cannot be reversed. So that's the answer for that question. What else remains?
Thank you very much, Bhagavan. The last question is, in the conference with Texas in Dallas at the 12th of December, you have said, a citation now, that the one appears as the many. We do not say that the one becomes the many. Please, can you explain the concrete difference between appears and becomes? What exactly does this difference between appears and becomes mean? How does this difference concretely expresses itself at human being and in the emerging universe and on our earth?
Now you feel that you are separate from the other, you are separate from the wall, or the pillar there, or the door there, or if some animal were to come and you will be separate from the other. Now the strangest thing is, the moment the sensory coordination is slowed down, instantly you find that you are not separate from the other. In fact, you are the other. That does not mean you become the wall or the tree there. What happens is, here we give a teaching. The observer is the observed. That is, there is no more the observer, the me, the I, looking at something. What is there is the pillar, the door, the wall. That's all that is there. And that defines you. The only way to say that you are there is that hall, those pillars, those people. The others define you. In that sense, only the other exists. You do not exist. And all that is there is all that is there, and you are all that. So instantly, The sense of separation is gone. What hitherto was looking like the meaning. There is this pillar, there's a door, there's a wall, there's a roof, there are the people, they all look separate from you. Instantly it's gone. All that is there is only one. The pillar is not different from the door is not different from that, it's all one. And you don't exist at all. So all is one, nothing has happened. It's all the same. So it was appearing as though it was separate. But in truth, it's not separate. Just the slight going down the senses, it's all gone. So, but there's of course another state, the Kundalini still fires higher up, then you would actually feel that you are the wall. You feel that you have become the wall. This animal passing, you know that you are the animal breathing. That is not so very important. That's a super state. We're not talking of super states. We're talking of simple awakening, simple enlightenment where you are not there. All that is there is there. That's the oneness we're talking about. And it's only an illusion that we're separate. Illusion is gone. It's a trick that the brain is playing on you. The brain is a trickster. It is tricking you into believing that it's all separate. And that's gone. So we'll be going to all these things at a greater depth with the forthcoming Skypes. The third question is over. Next.
Bhagavan, can we now ask some organizational question?
Yes, yes.
We want to ask if it is further on possible for a group of interested people who are a strong branch of dedicated blessing givers to have further on our own monthly conferences with you. Because Tyasaji has just told us that the coordinators of Switzerland will also make the conferences, but we are asking if the group who wishes to also can have their own conferences further on a monthly basis.
See, there are countries which have coordinators, there are countries which do not have coordinators. Now, if in a country there's a coordinator, we expect all of you to come to the coordinator for organizational reasons, because it's convenient to bring to a single coordinator, and it will also be easy for you. Now, Philip and Lydia, if they are the coordinators, they will remain as the coordinators. We will not be removing anybody from the coordinatorship. If anybody happens to be removed or if anybody has resigned, they will never be replaced. It's a mark of respect for the coordinator to build up the work. Having said all that, if there are people who do not wish to come to the coordinator, they can directly link up with the university and have direct dealing with the university. You will not be stopped and we won't be telling you, come to the coordinator. We will only say, we will request you and we will tell you it will be easy for you and for us. Of course, we will say that. But if you have your reasons, whatever your reasons, we are not concerned about those reasons. If you take a stand, you do not want to come to our coordinator, you are most welcome to come directly to us. We are not going to say no to you. But the coordinator will continue. The coordinator will not be replaced. The coordinator will have their own schemes. They might go their own way with their own organization. That will go on. We won't be disturbing that. They have the right and the freedom to go on with their organization. If you don't want to be part of it, you people can get another organization, one or two, or you can come through independently. You have your freedom, they have their freedom. There is no need for a conflict or a clash. But one thing has to be made clear to you, that you must have heard about another organization called the One World Academy. You cannot be in both the organizations at the same time. That is not possible. You cannot be a communist as well as a capitalist at the same time. You cannot be a Democrat and a Republican at the same time. Either you are a Democrat or a Republican, or a communist or a capitalist. You cannot belong to two organizations which are opposed in more than one way. That is to be very clear. Either you are here or there. You are not enemies. But the simple thing, how can you be a Democrat and a Republican at the same time? I'm sure there are other parties in Switzerland, different political parties.
Yes.
Boys. Can you be a member of all the parties at the same time?
No.
The same thing applies here. That's all there is to it. So there need not, if somebody wants to be in other organization, they are welcome to be there, but they cannot continue to be here. That's all. And if you do not like your coordinator, well, you can form your own thing and do what you want. But that does not mean that they should be dissolved or they should be removed. They have any right to exist, do whatever they want. You have the right to exist and do whatever you want. There is total freedom. Remember, the most important thing one is to set man totally and unconditionally free. You have your freedom, no problem at all.
Thank you for confirming this, Bhagavan. So, we are asking you, please give us a very strong blessing for the growth of each of us and for Switzerland as a country, and a special blessing for our exactly 5 new blessing givers initiated 2 weeks ago. This we are asking for, and we are saying thank you very, very much, dear Bhagavan, for this beautiful first meeting with you, and for your answers and your teachings, and we hope to meet you now on a monthly basis.
Yes, you're most welcome. I will be very happy to give a blessing to the new blessing givers. While we meditate, I will give a blessing also. So shall we now move to meditation?
Yes, we will. Thank you, Bhagavan.
Love you all. Love you. Namaste.
Namaste, Bhagavan.